Nick Rolovich, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
It is great to be with you here. It's that time of the week, 6 o'clock, and we are talking about football. We're talking about basketball here as well, as we're in the thick of things now into pack play, and very pleased to be joined by our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun. Thank you very much for this time. We've got Coach Rolovich making his way off the practice field, and so we really love this time with you each week for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is we can talk a little bit of hoops, sneak some hoops in.
We didn't get to catch up after the game last
night. Correct. We are COVID distant in Beasley.
Yes.
So Washington State basketball is off a 4-point win, a 3-0 start, a 1-0 pack start, and heading to Boulder tomorrow to take on the Buffaloes.
You know, and this is kind of the message to all Cougs, and this is how, and I know we're all excited whenever we can all get back together, but you look at what our coaches are doing, and you see, you know, I'll go back to last year. Jen Greeny brings a National Freshman of the Year here, Magda Jelarova. You got a bunch of great freshmen, and I'll just pick out Jaden Delora with football. You got F.A. Obagidi, who is as high of a ceiling maybe we have. And the craziest deal, when you look at those two, Trinity Rodman hasn't even played on the soccer team.
Yeah.
And you talk about the highest rated recruit we've ever had at our school. So it's a really fun time to watch all these young people excel, to be in environments where the upperclassmen are embracing them, seeing the hard work done by everybody. And you watch, I mean, that's a great win last night for that basketball team. I mean, it's a different year, because they're not going to be able to ambush anybody. Because last year there was an element of surprise. Because the reality, you don't blame them. Teams would come in here and say, "Oh, you know, we could, you know, go through the motions and beat the Cougs," and then all of a sudden you get punched between the eyes, and Washington State would walk out would get a win. And last night, Oregon State, I mean, that was a tough Pac-12 game, and we came out on the right end of it. It's not going to be like that every time, but that's a heck of a win to start out the year, and excited to see, you know, and we're in first place in the Pac-12 at least for a couple more hours, so we're going to enjoy it.
Well, you've got a game last night for basketball where you kind of feel good sometimes when you win not playing your best.
Yes.
And they eked one out, and the defense is going to be there. This team has shown that, right?
And we play hard. And I think, and I remember when we were recruiting Kyle to take the job, I told him, hey, our Cougs, if they just want to see wins, and if they're a bloodbath, 50-49, and we're winning, I mean, this place embraces that. I mean, nobody loves pretty losses at our place, and I don't think there's ever a thing as a bad win.
Right.
So I mean, yesterday we play hard. The offense will come around because I think Isaac is going to shoot better. Noah is obviously growing into being a sophomore, and it's awesome seeing the jump. And Jazz is now put together. You know, can he do it consecutive games as in every other game? So you see what's going on, and the young guys are starting to figure it out. I mean, you could see it's going to be fun with this basketball program. And FA is something that maybe this league hasn't seen in a while. The way he's been, the way he is.
Yeah, the guy I keep going back to is Kenny Wooten with Oregon, who's a pro and is as an elite athlete as they come, and was part of a program that went to the Final Four in 2017, and you're talking about great elite athleticism.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Literally changed the context of the game last night with a couple plays.
Yeah, had some key blocks. He had 7 boards. He had 3 blocks, 2 steals, and that's his first pack game as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Was his first
now teams are going to make adjustments, which is our league, and the athleticism is at it's at a different level, but it's going to be fun to watch because I tell you what, and we both drink the Kool-Aid, but our coaching staff and how they scout and how they get this team prepared and the work our guys put in, you know, it's a battle every week, but it's a battle that they're showing that they're up to the task for.
Well, Kyle Smith's now 15-5 in home games.
Nice.
Since coming here, so the Kool-Aid. That's a delicious mixture. It's very easy to like when that hits the lips. It's perfect. Craig Elo is very complimentary of the defensive effort. You know, all said and done, big picture. I kind of want to ask you. Let's take a step back from hoops just for a moment and go. Program-wise, where does Washington State athletics stand? How's football looking? How's the COVID situation? How's everybody doing big picture-wise now that we're kind of getting into pack play and basketball toward the new year?
So thankful we got in last night's basketball game. Probably the easiest thing for me to do is just focus in on football now because it is I guess we got basketball games scheduled this weekend, but relative to football, got confirmation from Mike Bone, the USC AD. So I think we were all a little bit worried about any type of restrictions that might come up last minute in the state of California. But it's all systems go. I think we're prepared to leave Saturday for a 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. From a COVID perspective, where we sit right this moment, just for football, we have 8 in COVID protocol. That becomes 5 tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Because 3 come out.
Okay.
And then by the time we're on the plane Saturday, we project to be less than 5. But this is a day-to-day thing. I'm not.
Right.
I don't want to kid anybody. COVID is going. I mean, it doesn't pick and choose who it hits, and we have rigorous testing protocols in place that and they work. Because I look back at Stanford, and it stinks we weren't able to play, but the reality is our systems work, and if we would have got on that plane, who knows what would have happened, with the positives that came out, even a couple days after that. So we're on track. I know the team's working hard. I got to catch the last couple minutes of practice today. Pretty energized. It should be a fun night of football for us. It's gonna be weird playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I think we're all happy to play, and we're gonna. I think, and it's just nice because we had guys in and out, whether it's injury or COVID, and a majority of our guys are back together now. So it's fun. You can see the pop, the bounce coming back in at one step.
To what degree is and I don't know, and this may be a Mike Bone question and maybe not a Pat Chun question, but the Gavin Newsom state of California restrictions, is that because it said it was going to kick in a few days? Is this a pins and needles thing waiting to Sunday, or is it just we're clear kind of till that night?
I think we're clear right now.
Okay.
There was pins and needles just because we knew, and to our California schools' credit, both USC and UCLA, they've been very communicative and transparent with the league and our leagues. Obviously, they reside in the state of California, so they're in tune with what's going on with the state. So really, it was just this last round of restrictions that were going to come up. Was it going to affect college sports? Based on what came out today, we are trending well to be Sunday night. Both teams have to have a couple more good days of testing. I mean, that's a reality of where we're at. But right now we're trending and we're excited. I mean, this has been a tough year on a lot of different fronts. It means the world to our guys to go play football, play together. I know for all the Cougs listening, watching, it's a heck of a getaway for a couple hours to cheer on your Cougs. And it's a fun team to watch too. It's a bunch of guys that you can be proud of, and a coaching staff that you really, really love, and you want to see them be successful. So Sunday night can't get here soon enough.
I also reflect the energy in practice. I was there a couple of days ago. We were there together.
Yeah.
Both practices, basketball and football. But speaking specifically to football, they're fired up for this game. This is a Sunday game against the Trojans in L.A. They know it's kind of the only college football game going on. I get the sense they are fired up for this game against 3-0 USC.
Yeah, and it's nice being the only show on TV. I know I think there's only 2 football games, us and the Sunday night game,
NFL game,
NFL game, but the only college game. And we got a lot of guys from California. We got a lot of. I mean, we make no bones about it. I mean, the team that's here was recruited to win Pac-12 championships. The teams that here wants to put in the work. The team that here is you look at the makeup of this 2020 football team, and it's a team that really when you watch them, they enjoy being around each other. You could see the way they've been the way the whole coaching staff. Probably the best way to put it is Nick Rolovich and this staff really believe in family. Washington State believes in family. Our best teams, period, are families. There's dysfunction without any family, but you see this group really likes being together and wants to go make a statement Sunday because they haven't had a chance to make the statement the last 2 weeks. And, and we got a pretty good stage to do it on in Los Angeles, and the biggest TV market we have, and the only college football game on that evening.
Well, it's a big weekend. You got Coug Hoops trying to go 2-0 in the pack.
Stay in first place.
Stay in, right. Maintain their first place mark. You've got football on Sunday, which is just – first time since '88. So that was a bowl game. I got to go back to the record book to find the regular season.
Is that it? Okay.
So the last Sunday game was the Aloha Bowl in 1988. There's a regular season game somewhere back before that I need to check out still and find the data of, which somebody probably now is either tweeting at me or correcting me for when that was.
I'm disappointed Bill and Bobby haven't got you that info.
Yeah, right? God, come on, guys. Jeez. But yeah, so since '88 is the last one. And this is, look, and now back to basketball, because I'm going to cut you loose after this because I think Coach Rolovich is here. wins are at a premium this year.
More than ever.
More than any.
Because you don't know. We have a schedule, but it's not worth the paper it's printed on. So it is wins are at a premium. Men's basketball is a good example. That we got to get every team's got to get to 13 as it sits today to get to the minimum to be qualified for postseason. And we're not going to kid you. I mean, who knows how the season's going to go? Every Washington State team we field has postseason goals and aspirations. Football does, basketball does, women's basketball, soccer. They're all different parts of the spectrum and where they're at in program development. But basketball is a team that they feel like we're going to go bunch every night in this league.
If you're 3-0 and you're expected to get to 13 games to get to the NCAA tournament to be eligible for it, and you're scheduled for 27, it reflects what the committee thinks might happen to this basketball season. It's half your games that are out, and then you've got 3, which is a huge percentage of what could happen here. I think those games could prove to be really important.
We're fortunate to get those games in, and hopefully Sunday night we say we're fortunate we got one more football game in, and we go on to Cal back home. It would be great to get our last one here in the stadium, and then roll the dice and see where Week 7 is.
Any Apple Cup update? Anything?
No, but I know if there's a window, and we'll work on it. I mean, we're motivated. The team on the other side of the state's motivated. We'll see if those roads can converge.
It's a daily question. You just kind of wake up and ask it. And then Thank you, Pat. Thanks for this time.
Cougs,
appreciate you. You bet. That's our director of athletics, Pat Chun. We'll be back here with Nick Rolovich next.
And now
you're clear.
Press box. It's the Nick Rolovich Show, the coach's show here. Coach, great to see you.
Good to see you too.
I feel like we're back in the saddle again.
You're so far away.
Well, we're trying to be socially appropriate,
right.
with all the
it's good
protocols.
Good to be back.
Emotionally
close.
close.
Yeah, that's right.
But geographically slightly more
they
distant.
They can probably see the bond.
They can see it, hear it, and feel it. Right. I hope so, at least. I think so. How's practice today?
Good.
How's it been the last couple? Is it?
Energy. Yeah, today was good. It's been a frustrating deal for these guys, right? Preparing for damn near getting on the bus to go to Stanford, right? And then
on it, right?
Kind
of. I mean, they hadn't pulled out to the airport yet, but they're getting there.
In the Apple Cup, that hurt a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And then this one getting pushed back. So our guys are, it was frustrating. They want to play.
So it sounds like from what Pat just relayed that all systems go. I mean, the spirits are upbeat. the team's ready to roll. Sounds like the same is the case for the guys in L.A., too.
Yeah. Me and Clay have been talking every day, just kind of updating. What are you hearing? How you doing? And I think it's been a pretty candid, open communication. I like Clay. He wants to get the game in. We want to get the game in. So we just wanted to make sure we were all on track. And if anything was looking fishy, that we can make something work.
Is that type of communication unique to 2020? Do you often?
Probably. I like to do it anyway, but you got to soften up these guys in this conference.
First year, give them a buzz.
Yeah, I got to soften them up. Hey, how you doing?
Butter them up a little bit.
Oh yeah, you got to butter them up.
Was it weird for you to be playing on a Sunday? What's that week like for you? The extra
tell
day.
the guys you're dreaming about playing on Sundays.
There you go. There you go.
You get your chance.
Last one was the '88 Aloha Bowl.
Yeah.
And then prior to that, the '87 game against Cal.
Okay.
Which I'm told was in Japan, was on a Sunday.
Was it on a Sunday in America, the international date
That's
line?
a
You
great
got all
question.
types of,
that is a key question.
You got some technicalities here. We got to get Billy Meatballs. We take care of that.
Bill Stevens, our SID behind the scenes,
he'll figure it out.
He nodded in affirmative.
That's right.
Did you played in Australia?
Yeah, we did. We did play in Australia.
And we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Japan game, the Australia game, the game?
I want to go to Japan.
I
want to go to Japan. My son had a baseball tournament in Japan.
Really?
A lot of the teams from Hawaii would go to Japan to play.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little cultural exchange. Very good experience for my family. I couldn't go, but sounded like a blast. And a lot of there's a lot of football opportunities in Japan too.
Interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of guys from Hawaii throughout the years that had gone over there and made a career, made a family, had a good time playing football and working in Japan and living in Japan.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize there was such an American football influence in Japan.
South Korea too.
Huh.
South Korea, it's big in South Korea also too.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So Seoul, they don't play each other. That's not one league, is it? Seoul playing Japan?
No, there's two. I don't want to speak on the Japan football as much because I don't know. I just know there's kind of a university type of scenario where teams play, and then there's kind of I guess you would call it a professional league where they work for the company that sponsors a team and plays football. They play football for that team. So
you were part of a really concerted effort to spread the game. You played in Germany,
right?
And the NFL Europe was
good.
Big deal for a while. It was games everybody watched and remembers.
It was spring football.
Yeah, it was great logos and jerseys.
Yeah.
It was super fun.
You had beer stickers all over you.
That was great.
And European car companies. It was good.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of fondly thinks back on NFL Europe.
I think so too, and it was as close as we've had to a developmental league for the NFL because there was allocations. You weren't counting against the first cuts, so you always got to make it to the last cuts and continue to get better. I thought it was a great. I don't know why it went away, but other than playing football more, trying to make a team the next August, you're still doing a real world travel. You know what I mean? You're on trains, you're on public transportation, you're trying to get around with limited language, and it was good for us to do.
The sneaky rumor in the NFL, it's not really a rumor nobody knows about, but London's kind of paneling for a team. I mean, they've been they're playing a game in London like all
the time. Yeah.
All the time. The owner of one of the teams owns an EPL team in London, so I mean, who knows? What do I know? But
it's tough travel.
Yeah, well, right. The Los Angeles, the Raiders to the London game is tough.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stop over in Dubai.
The other way. Yeah, hey, that'd be fun. That'd be great. I mean, maybe they get a team too.
That's right.
Spread the love, right?
In Germany, it was we had good crowds.
Did you?
Yeah, we had good crowds.
Did they get it? I mean, I hate to ask that, but the game's not played as much there. Do they know? It's very rules-based
sport. You have
to
think we have a lot of military bases there, so the German fans were great.
So, all-time great Coug baseball player, who used to be in town here, a guy named Mike Kincaid, who's in the Coug Hall of Fame now, played baseball in Japan for a while. He was on the broadcast with me for baseball games for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet he loved it.
Great guy. Loved it. He loved it.
Yeah.
And he said baseball in Japan, they eat noodles in the stands. Mm-hmm. Games take 4+ hours. They couldn't care. They'd love to be there.
Noisemakers.
They love it. 4 or 5 hours.
It's an engagement. It's an involvement within the game. My family got to go to a game, and they said it's just incredible.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
We should go to Japan.
I would love.
Cougs in Japan.
Well, they used to do it. I know Arizona played a game there, and sounds like the Cougs did in '87 against Cal.
I bet somebody likes Japan. We'll ask somebody to go back.
100. Let's do it. Hey, we need to take a break.
Right.
We're up against the break. We'll actually talk some Coug ball here.
Okay.
It's the Cougs USC week on a Sunday, as we are here with Coach Rolovich in the Martin Stadium press box. We'll be right back after this.
This isn't a real.
We're actually in the TV booth, to be specific about things, next to the Bob Robertson broadcast suite, a very spacious.
I just took a picture of that. That's a great little plaque.
The Bob Robertson,
Yeah,
well, it's
yeah.
a great plaque, and he was an incredible broadcaster and touched so many Cougs. I mean, his work meant he did the most you can do in the role.
Yeah.
He's the best, and we miss him, and just an all-time great.
Yeah, we see him in the back home video.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's part of the fabric.
Yep,
for sure.
I can see.
He and I've heard from so many folks of stories of playing catch, listening to Coug games growing up. And,
Really?
Oh gosh, and decades ago, there was no telecast for every game. And even not that long ago, there wasn't a pre Pac-12 networks. There wasn't necessarily a telecast every game. So it's a bit of a different era, and just the key to it all really was how good he was.
Really?
He was great. He was really great, and it was an honor to work with him for a few years in the booth, and it was special. It really was. So that's great that you saw the plaque.
Let's take a picture.
That's awesome.
I tweeted it out.
That's awesome. That's great. I will like that tweet. And retweet. How about that?
Wow.
Haven't seen it yet. There you go. You got the stamp. Yeah, right. Very elite stamp of approval on social media. Yeah. Hey, so let's talk ball here a little bit. Getting ready for USC.
Yeah.
They're 3-0. You've got a squad that has been off for quite a while. Just been practicing.
Us.
Yep.
Cougs
haven't played a game for a while. I would imagine, and we've got a lot of Twitter questions, I think, kind of dancing around this. The upside is you're healthy in theory, and you're
Or
rested,
healthier,
healthier,
yeah.
right? And then the downside is you haven't do you lose a sort of sharpness when you're playing every Saturday, or what's it like having this kind of break in the middle of
It's just
the
how
year?
demanding you are at practice, right? We've tried to not go as long because we've had more days to get ready, plus the limited numbers. You're trying to make sure they get enough reps but don't beat them down. But I think our guys are really juiced up today. I think we're getting the work in we need and trying to keep them fresh.
Who's active in practice that maybe wasn't active earlier in the football season that is of note to Coug fans?
Everybody's had something going on.
Yeah.
Jaden's practicing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How's he looked?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Clean. Wanted to get back earlier. There's some frustration when you're quarantined or you can't be out there. I mean, imagine being a player, right? And dealing with all this stuff. The support systems on the field.
Yeah.
All the guys. That's what they want to do. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody else.
Well, especially, not to bounce away from Jaden, but in general, you're quarantined, you're a college student, classes are virtual, students aren't milling around campus in any way. They may be a little bit off campus here and there, but
Well, I don't see a ton.
I don't either.
I mean,
yeah.
It's definitely a different world, right? You got to make sure that position coaches, I appreciate them, they're checking up on their guys, and because you're sitting there for however many days, right, in your house, and we bring them food and all that, but it's still, you want to make sure these kids are okay.
Yeah, and we've been at this now for whatever month it is, since I remember the date because I was with Craig Elo courtside in Vegas when they shut basketball down. It was March 11th. I was with Pat pregame. We were talking like, is this going to happen? And now here we are, and it's December 3rd. And mentally, I think everybody's a little bit
I think
shocked.
everybody's getting beat down, But back to these kids, right? All they have is their phone or the TV and, video games. And, even though those are fun, shouldn't be your whole day.
Right.
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 We talked a lot about, and this team's been pretty cool with the communication, brought up reading before, we really got into this. And then there was some guys recommending books. I was surprised that the recreational reading that this team does.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that. I would imagine that's continued. I mean, you're still doing the same general routine because, as we just said, there's not a lot going on campus. I love to hear that. Not that it's so shocking. They are college
students.
students,
A little bit.
but
they got to read what they have to, right? But the guys are reading other stuff. And it's a lot of self-improvement, leadership, growth. There was a good amount of history books that were recommended. So I was impressed too.
Can I put you on the spot for? Do you have a recommended read that came up or anything that?
Yeah, mine's The Magic of Thinking Big.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. I think we talked about this already.
I think a little bit. Yeah, I think so. I think a few weeks back. Yeah.
That one changed my life.
When did you?
Yeah, it was May of 2000.
Oh wow, that's pretty specific.
Yeah, right about when it was an important time in my life. So,
well, I think maybe some Cougs will pick that up.
I'll try to read it again.
Yeah.
I try to read it every now and then. I know some other coaches that have read it who are having success this year. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but I think it changes the way you think about things.
I'll have to scoop that one up. So it's what about it is so profound? What's important?
Changing your thinking. That I think how you perceive things and really waking up every day. Right? It's kind of like you got two beasts. You got the negative beast and the positive beast. If you wake up and say, "Oh, I got to go to practice again," right? Or I get to go to practice again. There's little changes in how you speak and how you even speaking to yourself. I think it helped me.
We brought up the adversity of the week before the Beaver game. First game, delayed schedule, road game, and I kept on talking to you about all these hurdles. I think this was in our pregame interview, and you responded to each good. You welcomed that kind of adversity. Freshman quarterback who had never played before, all these things, and you seemed excited at the challenges of that situation.
Yeah, because if you're not, these kids are not stupid, and they pick up on senses and how you approach things, and they absorb all of our coaching, not personalities, but mood, mindset, all that stuff they pick up on. They're not dumb, and like I said, they want to know why. And if you're a good coach, you should be able to explain why we're doing something. And I don't think that's a bad thing that they ask that. I think the days are there's not as many kids that'll just, all right, go do that, and okay, they'll do it, but they want to know the reason and how it helps them out or helps the team out, and sometimes it's a delayed lesson, and you can time when you don't have to answer them right there, but here's why I was asking you to do this. You just got to make sure you follow up. I think it's important.
Well, we are at the bottom of the hour. I promise we're going to get to Twitter questions next.
What does the bottom of the hour mean?
That means we're
30?
at 30.
Yeah,
yep.
That makes sense.
Yep, we're at 30. Clock.
I got
yep,
it.
we're at the bottom of the hour.
You're brilliant.
Well, I don't know. I just I stole that from somebody. Stole it. We'll take a break. Come back. It's the Coach Show here in the Martin Stadium press box with Coach Rolovich.
And now,
Stadium press box, and I'm not being rude here, Coach. I just got the questions on my phone. I always feel impolite
You're fine.
during our show.
You're
I don't
fine.
mean to be
Relax. Take a breath.
To be like that.
I got a book for you to read.
Well, I look forward to it. Maybe after I finish that, we will hit the Twitter questions a little differently.
Okay.
Mark B., who is a great cook, great participant in the show. He's the gentleman who drives up from Riverside.
Okay.
To
you spoke of
Zeppos.
him before.
Nice guy. Asks you, from Hawaii, what was your longest flight, either as a player or coach, for a game or recruiting trip?
Went to West Point.
Oh, wow, that is far. Yeah.
Honolulu to JFK.
Was that direct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you got on a train or a car after?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
You know what? One was funny. After the Cal game down in Australia, the next week we played in Ann Arbor.
Oh, gosh.
So we went back to Hawaii for a couple days and then took off for Ann Arbor.
So how'd you get? Okay, so you went Australia on a Saturday.
I don't know what day it was.
Right. So Australia some day of the week.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday.
Okay, to Hawaii.
Back to Hawaii after the game.
After the game. How long was that flight off your head?
God, I want to say it's 12.
Yeah. I'm going to say 10, 12.
Yeah.
Rough. So then practice. Or
a couple days, look at the film,
Yeah.
look at Michigan, and then get on the plane and get over to Ann Arbor. But Honolulu to West Point or to JFK was the longest trip we took.
Hey, not that anybody cares about this more than they do you recruiting, but my story is I went San Juan to Anchorage for a basketball broadcast.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Wow.
A little tournament in San Juan, a little Puerto Rico, stop in North Carolina, go to Anchorage. That was
North Carolina to Anchorage, huh?
Yeah, that was a good little split over a couple of days. Hey, Greg wants to know, how has the NCAA extending the dead period affected recruiting? Can Coach describe what goes into a quote-unquote virtual visit? How many?
I think that's a good idea because I was thinking about maybe just doing a virtual visit and having a lot of people on just to take a look at what we do. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
We usually start with Miss Lindsay in nutrition. She does a great job. We get academics in there. We have a video of, what it takes when you fly into Pullman. It takes 7 minutes to get to our facility. There's some good videos out there of campus, either on, we did a lot of searching. There's a lot of pre-produced videos that are useful for us. Do an academic presentation, a mock schedule for them in their desired major. They spend some time with the academic advisor and then in the weight room. And we do some football stuff by position. We usually go with 2 virtual visits before we really get all the way close to commitment. And a little more, you show the food, you try to show the dorms. There's some good stuff online about what the dorms look like. We're not in there now, but there's a lot of good resources.
It's a great question. And signing day is coming up.
Takes about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you got to flow with it, right? What do the parents want to talk about? What do they want to know? And it can go all types of different directions. But the main one, usually we hit academics, nutrition, and the weight room with the little football. How attractive have you found the logistics and proximity of everything to be? I mean, you've got the football complex right there, practice field right there, the stadium right here. It's a benefit when they see it.
Yeah.
I think there's some really good overhead views that show the practice field, the facility, the stadium. Mm-hmm. You can point out the Northside dorms where our guys usually stay.
Yeah.
All in a couple, in one picture sometimes.
Yeah.
So in the trip into Pullman, we show the back home video on the first virtual visit. Mm-hmm. And that brings up, obviously there's snow. So, there's snow here. There could be snow here. It could be cold.
That happens.
I mean,
yeah.
If you don't like that, let's not go much further because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you want to play on Sundays in the playoffs, you're probably playing in some cold weather.
There you go. Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Absolutely. Jennifer Delzer wants to ask you, Coach, everyone can think of negatives from having a 2-week involuntary pause in the middle of the season. What are some positives, if any?
I think it's more positive as far as the health you talked about. And, you got guys who are banged up a little bit, gave them time to get back. But I think it gave us more prep on USC, more time. The kids feel familiar with what they're going to see, I believe, and now we just got to go out and play.
Craig wants to know and I'm going to correct this question a little bit before we really pose it to you here. With most of the bowl games affiliated with the Pac-12 being canceled, have you had to revise some of the team goals for the season? Just before we went on to the show, while you were at practice, a bowl game was added to the Pac-12.
I didn't even know that.
It just happened.
Got a cool name?
It's just the Armed Forces Bowl.
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, it's a cool name. But it was a previous existing. So
Right.
It wasn't a new bowl. It was
Right.
just a new affiliation.
Cool.
And it's an SEC tie. So Pac-12, SEC. And that's actually the 5th now. So you've got Armed Forces, the New Year's Six Bowl, whichever it may be, the Alamo Bowl, and then bowls in Indianapolis and Los Angeles, I believe, are the 5 bowl games. So there are 5. Have you had to revise any team goals of postseason as this has ebbed and flowed?
It's been a real strange year where let's win this game this week.
Right.
We don't know if we're going to have another one next week. Right. And I've had those real conversations with the guys. I've sat them down and I said, listen, I can't promise you because every day, every night before a game, what I like to do is, make sure they understand, all right, you got 10 games left this season. You know what I mean? And they see it counting down as we go, seniors, right? They start seeing we're getting week 10, right? You got 2 games left, right? but that's really been the focus. Let's get to this weekend's game and play well, and we'll wake up Sunday and see what the situation is and get ready to go again.
Philip wants to know, what does the game day / night before routine look like, both home and the road, for coaches and players?
It's so strange now. There's really no, and I got frustrated with pregame meal. I snapped. I try not to snap very much, but I snapped on one of our guys. But it's not his fault, not our players, one of our staff members. Because I really do. I like to sit down. I like to eat together. I like, the night before a game and pregame meal, I like to sit down, let somebody bless the food, let the seniors go, let the juniors go, let the sophomores go, let the freshmen go, and the coaches eat last. But now the takeout boxes, there's no any of that element. So I've had to adjust how I'm very much a creature of habit and doing things night before a game and the day of the game. And I've had to kind of back away and just be real flexible.
Yeah,
it depends what hotel we're in. It depends what county we're in when we're in that hotel. It's nothing normal right now.
It'll be a better question to ask maybe next year when we really figure out routine.
Yeah, and there will be some changes that to take advantage of either the things we have or the time we have or the space we have. But I think Coach Goby does some excellent special teams meetings the night before a game and the day of the game. Then you got offense and defense position meetings. And then, I usually talk to them before we go to bed or before chapel's available, and then talk to them. We do a thing, I think I got it from, I forget who I got it from, but I call it mental check. Before we get on the bus, before they watch the highlight film, each position coach, I call them up. They call somebody in their position. They ask a question that's pertinent to the game, and they have to stand up and answer correctly in front of their whole team. And I think it really shows, okay, I could trust that guy. He knows what he's going to be doing when he gets in this situation, right? And I think the guys really like it.
It's like a game question.
It's a game question.
Kind of pop quiz, really.
All right, you're going to get empty, or what are we checking to, right? And everybody claps and kind of rise. You can feel the energy rise to the highlight film, and then we get on the bus.
That's fun. That's awesome. Gavin wants to know, are there any potential games after Cal, maybe postponed Apple Cup?
Well, that's the one everybody wants to get. I'm cheering for Mr. Shaw this week. I'd like to see us get this thing done. I feel bad. I feel, I don't want to. This is the first Apple Cup that hasn't been played, and and I don't like having that on my name. I don't like having that on my watch. I want to go fight. So I got a hunch things work out.
Love it.
Work out.
Love it. PC Hale wants to know, with a possible COVID lockdown in LA, is there a contingency plan to play in Pullman for this game? Pat kind of answered this.
Did he? A lot of those conversations with Clay were about, what are you hearing from your people? I don't want to just go to Twitter or try to find, what are you hearing? What's the likelihood? Because there's some real logistic stuff that needs to change. David Fox, our director of football ops, he's got to go. We got to talk about hotels. I mean, we got a trailer taking off tonight, right? I mean, a truck going, and that guy. Supposedly he was 15 minutes from Stanford when he got the call that we were coming down. He had to turn around. So,
what a year for those guys.
There was talks. If not, I know another neutral site, or they're always welcome to come up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go, PC Hale. Yeah, well, Cougs playing the Trojans somewhere, somehow. Final question, and we love the Twitter participation. Zachary wants to know, have you, Coach, ridden on a combine yet? And
no, I wanted to.
He says he wants to be the first to.
I've climbed in a combine.
Okay.
I have not ridden in one. But yeah, that's an impressive vehicle.
Really cool.
I mean, the sheer mass and sitting in it, and you don't get it just watching it in the field. You got to get in that thing, and I'd love to rip one of them around.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Who was that again? I'm going to write
Zachary. He tagged you in it, so it'll show up on there.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll talk to you.
Sweet.
Yeah. Hey, we'll take a break, come back. Thank you so much for participating on the show as always. We'll come back and talk some preview. The Trojans here. It's the Coaches Show here with Coach Rolovich. We're in the Martin Stadium press box. Rolovich,
Well,
Coach.
we were talking combines.
We were talking combines. That's true. We're in the break. We were talking combines. Now, our producer and engineer, Jerry Kylo, drove a combine.
That's right.
And when he was in high school. So he's got that.
Good knowledge there,
He has
Jerry.
the real knowledge. Yeah, he's the
12
the
to
wheat
13
farmer.
days.
Yeah, it took him 12 days to harvest. That now takes him like 8 hours, he said, which is 2020 efficiency right
That's
there.
right.
Technological advancements, the evolution of the wheat fields. Hey, so Trojan football, you've watched them on film. You've had a little extra time to watch them. What pops out to you? What do you see?
Really good running backs,
Yeah.
whoever's back there.
A few of them, right?
Yeah. Number 7, I think it's Carr.
Stephen Carr.
Yeah, he's pretty special. Slovis really tries to take advantage of some quick throws if he's got numbers. Whether you call it bubble screens, now screens, really tries to get the balls out to those guys in space. We have to tackle in space. We have to hit. He gets to his back when he gets through progressions. They're getting a lot of good yards, getting the ball in space late in the progression, getting those tackles to be 4, 5, 6 yard tackles, not 18-yard tackles are important. And then when we want to match up and play some man, we got to get home and shake his feet a little bit and cover these guys downfield.
Their offensive coordinator is a former Coug assistant.
Yeah.
Graham Harrell
Yeah.
was here for 2 years, once a year as an analyst, the other as a receiver coach. Are they running the air raid as Coug fans might know it?
There's some concepts, but I think there's more personnel groupings than Coug fans are probably used to. It's funny, I was recruiting Sacramento, and Graham was down there, and we sat at I don't know if it was a coffee shop or a bar, and talked air raid differences versus run and shoot.
Oh, really?
Quarterback run game and 10 personnel, and I still remember that talk. It was with a good high school coach in that area too.
That's a lot of QB pass yards talking at a table right there. That's
It
you and Graham. That's a lot
good.
of air yards.
It was good fun. He was up here. He must have been here already.
Oh, okay.
Because we were talking about what Leach did and the differences and stuff.
I think Hawaii was in a Bay Area trip. You might have been playing like San Jose State when the Cougs were playing Cal, or something
Stanford.
like that. Yeah, or Stanford maybe,
Yeah.
and so cross paths. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the Mountain West and the Pac-12 overlap right there.
That's right.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
You do that so well.
Well, I
mean,
appreciate that,
holy
Coach.
smokes.
Well, that's not.
Gosh.
I think you just like the read. I think you like
No,
the Coors Light read too.
That makes you want to go have one.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
your job.
That's the goal. That's and in about 10 minutes, Then how about on the flip side,
Sure.
defensively, USC? They have a new DC this year.
Yeah, a real decorated coordinator, right? Who's been around, been some big programs, been very successful.
Todd Orlando.
Yeah, I believe his years at Houston, is when he kind of really started making a name for himself, and did some time at Texas, I believe, and good scheme. I know, Dave Aranda's a good friend of mine. I know there's some. Dave won't tell me anything, but I think they were two coordinators kind of coming up that were making a little name for themselves, which is good. Quality scheme. The kids on the defensive side of the ball for USC doesn't look to be a lot of confusion. So I think there's their confidence level there. They can play man to man. They got cover guys, so that's a challenge for us, being accurate and getting off that press or man coverage and winning on those routes, getting the ball out. They have a lot of guys that can. I know, 99 Drake Jackson does a lot of. People you got to look out for him, but there's a lot of guys that can cause issues in pass rush. They're strong, they're stout, they're pretty looking athletes. So it's not like you can just concentrate on him because you got to worry about Figueroa over there, or the guy that pops to me I keep telling is 93 Marlon Tuipulotu, and the disruption that he causes. So. Good football team, good athletes. It's going to be a definite challenge, but we want it. We want to go play.
Love it. This is a Sunday night game against a Trojan team that is 3-0, and a chance for you to knock them off. And
Let's go to break.
If you do get the W, we need to take a break here. We're up against it. The narrative does flip to who's in the lead for what division and Pac-12 championship race and all that stuff.
Might have to have a thumb war.
It's right. Rock, paper, scissors. Hey, we're up against it. We'll take a break.
Right.
Our final segment coming up next. It's the Coach Rolovich Show here from the Martin Stadium press box.
Oh, not yet.
Tweet your
Sorry.
questions for Coach by tagging the handle M_Chaz. Live with Coach Rolovich. Here's
Now
Matt
mic's up.
Chazanow.
All right, back here in the press box here in the Martin Stadium press area as we hear with Coach Rolovich. Coach, this is the USC week, and this is our final segment. We got about a minute. Really appreciate your time and Pat's time.
Yeah.
As always, got a big weekend
Appreciate
here.
your time.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. It's Cougar basketball Saturday, Cougar football Sunday. Usually that's flipped. Cougar hoops might tip on a Sunday.
All right.
Kyle Smith's off to a 3-0 start.
There you go.
It's a
Love it.
exciting time.
Love how he does it. Love what he's about. Love how he loves being here.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Coach. Thanks
you,
for the time.
Chaz. Appreciate it.
Huge thanks to Jerry Kylo, our producer and engineer, Jake Hirmata, back in the U.S. Bank Network studios. It is a 12:30 airtime, 1 o'clock tip in Boulder and on Saturday, and then Sunday, 2:30 airtime, 4:30 kick. Cougs at the Trojans in the Coliseum. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.